it's me, Johnny Fox, here at Snikt. It's Thursday, it's 7 p.m-ish, where I am, or good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. So my guests tonight, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are the fantastic Misery Prize. Much better than I ever could. If all the tech works, because you know how that goes. Oh, we've got one down. Hey,
even.
We're waiting. This is going to be my first on cam live on the internet threesome, which is quite something, and also things I never thought I'd say. But there you go. So hopefully there'll be another one along in a minute. And we'll get this show on the road.
Yeah, you don't want to be talking to me. I'm just the drummer.
Oh man, drummers though, drummers. There's always a drummer shortage. There's never enough drummers. Every drummer I know is in like 10 fucking bands because everybody needs one. Guitarists and shit are like 10 a penny. Singers, or people think they're singers, are also 10 a penny. So, speaking of which,
where is it?
This is always the fun part of the show. I bet nobody ever skips this bit. This would be the most viewed couple of minutes of every show.
Right. I'm not touching any buttons in case it goes wrong, so I'm going to leave.
I'm going to spam invites and see what happens. But look at that, with the drums right there.
I thought I'd better add.
Yeah. Very on brand. So it seems a shame to start without him.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be along.
Hey, look at this.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
There he is.
We might be 10 a penny, but there's only one of me.
Right then. The gang's all here, kids. So, this is 2/3 of I think when I've been writing it, I've been putting dark electro punk. I don't know if you like that. I don't know if that even suits. And I've listened to enough. You'd think I'd know, but
I think
anyway,
we coined it as the Northern Chuntercore recently, didn't we, Ryan?
That's
we did.
Brilliant.
We did. Yeah. I don't know. I've always struggled to try and put anything we do into a genre, but we've kind of been adopted by the punk scene in various sort of countries and gone, right, all right, we'll settle with that. But yeah, Northern Chuntercore is the pioneers of it.
Somebody has to be. So, with that said, this is the part where I always say, never had two people vying for the mic before, but tell the kids at home, better than I ever could, a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Me? Okay. Yeah, so we're Misery Prize. We're three middle-aged men having a lot of fun making two middle-aged men, one handsome drummer, having a lot of fun. Yeah, basically, I mean, probably it's better to tell the story of how Misery Prize came to be, and that so we started originally. We've only been a band really for we've only been any kind of entity for 18 months, something like that. Myself and Andy, the missing face of Misery Prize, we encountered one another online late 2022. We were both solo artists. He's a far more accomplished musician than I ever could be, and he was a solo artist making stuff. I was just a knobhead making music on his computer, like for something to do. Somehow I managed to get a few plays on radio, and we bumped into each other digitally, and kind of went, right, well, let's collaborate on something, and that tune turned out really well. So then we kind of just back and forth on email, just sending each other bits and bobs, and by the time 2 months were up, we'd made an album, and we kind of, after that, we're like, right, okay, so we're going to be a band, are we? We're going to be a band. Let's give it a go. And we tried rehearsing together, and yeah, I mean, we did all right, but it were very, very messy. We didn't really know how to bring what we did to the stage. It was just, I mean, the produced stuff. So the stuff that you'll hear on the album Saints of Obscene is nothing like what you'll hear when we play live.
Yeah.
And when there were kind of we wanted to do something to go live and to take it onto the stage, but it was either we go Sleaford Mods like, where we just have a computer and there's a couple of us standing there and doing what we do. But Andy's very much a traditionalist in the band sort of thing. He's like, it's not going to work. I don't want to do backing track. We need to be playing this thing. So the hunt went on for a drummer, and then Jesse, that's the next step of the story is yours.
Yeah, so I think I first met Andy last May, probably early May last year. We were brought together by the owner of the local beer shop in the town where we reside. It's funny how many things seem to go via the beer shop. The beer shop proprietor is the conduit for a lot of things that go on in these parts. So yeah, that was good. I mean, essentially, they couldn't find a better drummer than me, so they ended up with me. I think that's basically the story. I think there was a hunt on for extra keyboard players, synth players, but it's just the three of us, which I think is working out all right. Ryan's been enlisted into the sample pad performance arena, which has been fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. But yeah, no. So when we started rehearsing with Jesse in July last year, and it kind of immediately gave the band a different dimension, an identity. We kind of, everything that we'd made before was good, but it gave us sort of like we had this shape that we could then take into, okay, so this is how we're going to perform things. So now this is how we're going to make music. So the stuff that you'll hear now, so the Saints of Obscene album, the covers, the Thieving Bastards EP, they're not what you hear when you hear us live. We've had Jesse on board for, well, still only 9 months, isn't it? But we've gone from this just sort of two people creating something to this. I absolutely love it. And yeah, so we've got this identity. We've gone, yeah, this is who we are. I'm gonna do the ranting, the raving, the what have you. Andy is the one who he's the musical genius that puts things together at his end. And then when we all get together live, Jesse's smashing the hell out of the drums, and it's a completely different energy.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, especially with a kind of predominantly electronic sort of bass sound, to go for the organic drummer, which is kind of like usually like the opposite. Like the drums are one of the main things that people would replace electronically.
Yes, I mean, all the demos and
it's not that easy. But,
yeah, all the demos on the album that's been released last autumn, that's all computer drums essentially, isn't it? I mean, I'm not even sure what the terminology is. All I've ever played is these things behind me. So, but yeah, it's interesting. I guess in some respects it is surprising that Andy was keen to go for a live drum sound. I've never played in a band with any synths before. I've always just played in traditional guitar rock bands, punk bands, thrash bands. I was going to say, when Ryan was talking about the sound changing a bit when I joined the band, I think that's largely because I'm a sloppy thrash drummer, essentially. So there's only one way it was going to go.
So is been a very conscious decision to, keep guitars the fuck out of it, or?
I know there's one or two tracks in there that Andy put together that did have guitars on, but I don't think he's keen to do it live, is he? That seemed to be, it's mainly good. I think partly because Andy's kind of doing all the bass part himself on a synth keyboard, and it would be hard without just playing it as a loop to then play the guitar as well. I guess that's kind of
Well, the reality of the trio is that there's only two of us that have got any kind of talent, musical talent whatsoever, and that's Jesse and Andy. I've got two synth pads, and I'm told each track has got 5, 6 pads. It's like you press those at these times. Honestly, but when we were first rehearsing, I was trusted with a tambourine with a little shaky egg. Yeah, no, it's not happening. I can shout the words, I can sing what I need to sing, but you're getting nothing else from me. Yeah. And the fact is, we want to keep it tight, and we've kind of found this dynamic between us that we all get on really well. We're all very easygoing when it comes to it. It's just let's just crack on, let's do this and let's do that. But yeah, Andy's the what's his name? I should know it. Pet Shop Boys guy, Brian Wilson. Andy's Brian Wilson, and he's honestly a multi-talented, multi-instrumentalist that he's handling everything that he can do, and he's singing at the same time. I can press 5 pads per song, and then Jesse has the rest of it, and I don't know, it's just organically dropped into how it does, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant, and we're far better than we've got any right to be. I'll be honest with you.
So, you've not performed live yet, or is that still to come?
Yeah. Well, we've done three gigs so far in Barnsley. Chris at 1 over the 8 was kind enough to put us on the White Bear last year. It went down really well. We were supporting Mark Jackson's Criminal Waste of Talent. Lovely guy, Mark. He's been a big champion of ours since we played together. Then Chris put us on at the Courthouse in December, and then again in February. And each time, I think the crowds of the word is spreading. The crowds have got bigger, and then we've got a big summer ahead of us with a good 7 or 8 gigs already confirmed around Yorkshire. We've played live. Absolutely, the World Tour of Yorkshire.
So first, and by no means probably last, cliche question. I always like things to be more of a chat than an interview. I always say that, but there's going to be some questions involved. So tell me about the name, Misery Prize. What's the story behind that?
The band had a name before I joined, so I can't comment on that one.
It was about a month in the making. We had a lot of names. We only ever really communicated via Twitter Messenger. That was because both the lads are largely social media averse. Apart from myself, it's my day job, so it's I'm all over the place with it. But so back and forth on Twitter with just loads of different names, just different words, plays on words. We even created a song on the song on the first album, Last Breath, where the chorus is talking about there's nothing new, it's all been done to death, it's took its last breath. That track was largely kind of influenced by our hunt for a band name. Where you'd come up with something, then you'd be straight on Spotify as somebody got this yet. Yeah. Hundreds of them. Everything that we came up with, there were already somebody with something. I like plays on words. I'm a writer by trade, and I like to come up with that. So it was like the Mystery Prize. We were going to be there was Misery Box, I think, for a time. But then there's another band called Misery Box already. So Misery Prize was.
I wouldn't have joined the band if it was called Misery Box. I'm sorry. Many a fun hour can be had dreaming up daft band names.
Yeah, so. I've always, I still stand by. I've always said all band names, all band names are shit because they're all too cliche or just too obvious or just stupid or don't actually fit. Like it sounds really cool, but then you think it doesn't actually really fit the
Or
vibe
so
and the
niche,
theme what
so
you're
niche
going for.
nobody knows what the hell
Yeah,
it is.
people say, and people throw various like really cool, really successful bands at me. Like, well, no, the band's cool. The name's shit. It's kind of cool now because the band's actually good, you know. So it's synonymous
Yeah.
with being cool because the band is. But like the name, but you've got to pick something eventually, and something always sort of settles and sits, and everybody feels comfortable. And yeah, sometimes you really get behind it, and it can also energize and change and bring something when you get that name and can bring a real cohesiveness to it. Sometimes everybody rallies behind that's what we are, or it's just yeah, well, we've got to be called something. Something's got to go on the posters.
Yeah, it's good to be memorable as well, isn't it? That sort of thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, something that
Otherwise,
sticks.
you just use everybody's names, and then you're Dave D, Dozy, Beaky, making the fuck that. Sure, all the kids love that reference. I've just lost all viewers, sort of like under 50, have gone. But it's fine. It's fine. Well, nothing new. So, second incredibly cliche question. Let's talk about influencers. To make it sort of, I get like I don't know, two-pack. So, what were your influences? What were you into? Not necessarily influencers to Misery Prize. More personal, just yourselves. What were your big artists sort of growing up? You know, really getting your it. I'm assuming you got into music when you were younger, and it's not something you discovered last week. You know, what were the young inspirations? What were the teenage kicks for the members of Misery Prize?
Teenage Kicks was a teenage kick, but yeah, I'm a child of the '80s, but yeah, I suppose got into music in the early to mid '90s. So I mean, all those like the classic rock stuff and variety of stuff. I suppose not classic rock. I mean, it's in like rock albums that were released in the early '90s, and think of stuff like Soundgarden, and I mean, Beastie Boys aren't rock, but you know, the sort of Check Your Head album, that was a seminal one coming out. Bit of definitely influence on me teenage years, but yeah, I went more from the rock end of the spectrum and went more into sort of alternative music, punk stuff, like a lot of the American East Coast hardcore and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, West Coast surf punk stuff. Mid to late '90s, got quite into that. But yeah, kind of quite diverse and eclectic for me, really. I mean, I realised when I left home, went to university, I realised I was missing all my dad's music, so I started buying blues records and going home and nicking his jazz records and stuff like that. Not the classical, though. Never the classical. How about you, Ryan?
Right. Well, as a kid, I went to Prince. Diamonds and Pearls, Get Off on Now 20. I got the first record I was ever bought as a kid was Now 20, and I discovered Get Off by Prince on that one. Absolute banger. So from that, I went into Diamonds and Pearls, bought that on cassette and played it to death. And then onto the Love Symbol album. And that kind of veered me into hip hop and rap. Warren G was kind of like an introduction to rap. I got big into Tupac. I remember where I was when he died. I even cried when he died as a young teen. He's dead, yeah. Oh, he might be.
Saying that?
You're right. He's on Epstein's Island.
No, he's not.
Um,
No, he's not. He's alive and well, and right now he's alive and well, living on his beach hut, and every so often, he just shouts over to that little skinny kid with the bleached blonde hair. He's like, "Yo, Kurt, guess who's trending on Twitter? It ain't fucking you."
I misheard that.
But I think they're shit.
I thought you said he lived
So yeah, big into Tupac in my teenage years. A lot of hip hop stuff, and then in the 2000s, I veered more into guitar music. Did a lot more gigging in Sheffield and Leeds. Bit of crossover stuff like Dan Lassac and Scroobius Pip, but a lot of the choral as well. I listened to And then sort of late 2000s was more the Black Keys and Modest Mouse. Absolutely love Modest Mouse, and just the way that I think Pink Floyd did it. Tool also did it. The way that they can turn one song into three songs.
Yeah.
It's a 7-minute journey of music that I really like. And then Beck, I absolutely love Beck, and the way that he changes. Every album is a different sound, and that's something that I've always tried to take into my creative thing. It's important to me to sound, not to be sat in a pigeonhole and go, well, that's us. It's important to surprise people. It's like, this is what we've done now, but now this is what we've done, and the ability to evolve and change what you do, I think, is a strong signifier of a good artist, and I think Beck does that better than anybody else.
Definitely, got to agree with that. So I don't want to just assume that the vocalist writes the lyrics, but would that be the case? I mean, it often is, but I don't like to assume it.
Yeah, pretty much 90%. But I've come from, as I said before, I'm a writer by trade. I've written and published 11 novels, a collection of books, and to varying successes. I managed to get into like the top 200 on Amazon, and picked up a kind of a following there. And I just love, I love the English language and what you can do with it. And I was a writer for. I was publishing stuff for 6 or 7 years, and then my youngest daughter. I was okay when my eldest came along. She had a bedroom. I had the studio upstairs, the attic upstairs as my creative space. Then the youngest came along, and that was it. That was writing out of the window. We'd got my beard was brown before she showed up, and writing kind of took a back seat, and that's when in lockdown. When there was nothing for anybody to do, I tried colouring in stuff. I tried a bit of drawing stuff and making stop motion animation videos with my daughter, and I settled on I was just messing with free software on the internet and just creating beats and trying to write along to that, just to keep that creative vibe going. I tend to be sort of triggered by do you know, like at school you used to have those English projects where they'd go, here's a word, now write a story about it. Here's a theme, now write something about it. So a lot of the time it is I'll be given a beat or something with, and Andy will be just going blah, 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 over the top of it, of where he would sing it, and somewhere in there I'll hear a word, and then it's like, okay, that's the word I'm going to write about, and that's what I'm going to. So yeah, we're quite spontaneous in that regard. It can often be just anything as simple as a word that triggers it. But yeah, I'm left kind of to the which is absolutely fine by me. I love it.
All right. So what's next? What's coming up? I mean, I know there's some things coming up, so give the big plug for April.
Andy, do you want to? Andy, Jesse.
We've got. I've forgotten what the schedule is because Ride's in charge of that. But we've got a couple of tracks coming out in the month of April. So that's going to be the first release that I'm actually playing the drums on. So I'm quite excited about that. And like Ryan said, there's a definite shift in the tone, I would say, of the music from what was on the last album. It's definitely got a dirtier. It's got a proper filthy bass, and a bit more of a thrashy sound to it, I think, which suits me. But yeah, just going back to what Ryan said about the creative process. It's interesting. I've always played in bands where we've just sort of jammed stuff together at rehearsal, and like someone comes to rehearsal with a riff, and you just jam it and build a tune out of it. Whereas, to be fair, pretty much all the way through with Misery Prize, Ryan and Andy basically write a demo, like a full demo, and then I basically just learn it at rehearsal. So it's kind of, I don't know, there's still quite a lot there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of material that we've never even tried together live at rehearsals. And, yeah. Although Ryan said, we're pretty laid back and relaxed. It's like 5 hours of rehearsal on a Sunday. It's not the most relaxed band I've ever been in. Relaxed is like turn up and jamming the same riff for about 4 hours.
Yeah. So you still feel like there's like I said, within that context, like the song's basically complete when by the time it gets to you. But you feel like you've got plenty of room to maneuver and express your shit to the table.
Andy's never been really prescriptive. I think he was a little bit prescriptive about when we were sort of playing stuff that's like actually was about to be released on an album. He wants the sort of live sound to kind of be pretty similar to that. But with all the subsequent material that we've done, it's kind of he gives me free rein to mix it up and play what I feel,
right.
Which is good for me because I can't play written drum music. I can't stick to a script, so it's got to be like play from feel.
Because I did it the other way around. We got a 3-piece together and wrote a bunch of songs and jammed and gelled really well, really quickly, and everybody's buzzing, and had like a good sort of 30-40 minute set that we really thought was like pretty fucking good, and we're getting pretty tight at it, and we're thinking it seems a bit early, but fuck it, let's book a gig if it's just one, just because we feel like sharing with the world like you do. And we did this one gig and nailed it, like really nailed it. That on stage telepathy you get, and you all kind of look at each other and know, even if like everybody's just talking over you in the audience so they don't care, but you're playing well. It was like that, but we were going down a storm to the point when you're halfway through a gig and like the promoters shouting out, from the bar, the promoters like, I'm gonna book you guys again, like everything's going well, and then the drummer quits, like that evening. like you pack down and that's him gone, never to return, and never to really explain why. Just sort of leave us a Dear John kind of a letter. It was like, what?
Fickle drummers, nightmare.
So out came the laptop, and we didn't get a drum machine as such. We got the laptop and we also things, and we added a bunch of other weird noises and shit. And it's like while we're using it, it seems silly to kind of just use it for drums. So we layered other things on and essentially became a completely different band. And performing live was weird. I mean, I've played with good drummers, I've played with bad drummers. Playing with a drummer that's never going to fuck up, but at the same time he's so strict that I suppose it probably improved me as a player, that I couldn't mess around either. I had to be on the one, But like the reaction from audiences, people, even other bands, when they're watching you set up, and we used to like we used to pick up anything we could find from a second-hand store or something, a teddy bear, or if we get hold of a blow-up doll, or like anything, and sit it, on the drum stool, and people just be like, what's going on, So I imagine like the other way around, with you like setting up and they're waiting for the guitars and they're not there.
Yeah,
it's got to be a kind of what, but then yes. Hopefully, anyway.
Hopefully, there's a bit.
We've had every gig that we've done so far, people have been surprised by the level of noise that we're kicking out for what we've got. We are 3 samplers, a synth, and Jesse on the drums.
Yeah.
And it's the feedback we've been getting. Mark Jackson, best new band I've heard in fucking years, which that's high praise. The last band we played with Wall were just, I've never seen a band do what you're doing. That's the kind of, for me, as somebody who likes to change, who likes the originality and change and sort of confounding expectations and being subversive in what we do. That's the kind of feedback that I'm absolutely buzz off. that's the thing that drives us on. And then one lad at the front of the last gig were just like the most original band I've heard. And and if that's what you strive for, that's the kind of stuff that you absolutely buzz off hearing, that takes you. It's like, that's the kind of stuff that goes, however we look, however we set up, we must be doing something right if the people are stopping and giving us that kind of feedback. And as I say, the crowd has been getting more animated and dancing more with every time we do it. And we're playing the old number 7 again in May with Soma. And I can't wait to do it because I love that venue. But yeah. So I don't know. I may have gone off piece there, but
Well, it's interesting as a drummer for the the difference between playing with the synths, because all the sound is coming out of the PA speakers, which are generally quite far in front of me, and playing small venues without monitors for me means that I'm not hearing a hell of a lot. I'm hearing the bass because that's kind of traveling backwards, but it's that's interesting. Whereas being used to playing guitar bands, even if they're mic'd up to a PA, you've got the actual cabinet sat next year. The cabinet on. Well, one of my neighbours has just joined the feed, so I should apologise to Bob for playing the drums in the attic too much. Sorry, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Hey.
They have got mutes on them, but it still makes a bit of a racket.
So we've got brand new, more representative music coming up in April.
Yes.
And gigs galore shortly thereafter.
Yeah, absolutely. So the April release schedule is April the 5th. We've got it's a slightly different kind of thing. It's something we recorded at the number 7 at the last gig called "I Don't Want You Here." It's the start of a 3-piece message, a direct message to the shower of shit that's running our country right now. I don't want you here. We're not strictly a political band. We're a socially aware band. The things that we talk about, the tracks are about various aspects. I don't know. I've described it as we talk about dickheads. We sing about dickheads. Is whether those dickheads are real physical people or real physical types of people, or the dickhead is depression. We sing about we're harpooning the things that make this world as shit as it is. But these next 3 tracks are very much in an election year. They're a bit of a direct message to the government. The first tune is "I Don't Want You Here." The next one, released on the 12th of April, is a much more traditional tune. So "I Don't Want You Here" is a spoken word. It's about 1:15. It's a spoken word rant against the government, but it is pretty much a prelude to "I Don't Want the Bill." No, I don't want the bill, which is essentially Andy shouting that he doesn't want the bill, and me going up against that with the things that the government have done in the last 14 years that we, the people, have been footing the bill for. And it's just in those years, it's just become more flagrant and more brazen in the corruption that's going on. And then the third tune is called "Go." Very electronic, very industrial, very dirty. So yeah, "I don't want you here. I don't want the bill for what you're doing. Go and fuck off" is basically his message. And then we've got gigs coming up in the first gig is at the end of April in Leeds at the Fox and Newt. It's our first gig outside of Barnsley. I've been very fortunate. The lads are both Leeds, Otley based, and I've kind of just been getting gigs in Barnsley, so it's only been a 10-minute drive from where I am. So no, we're venturing further afield. So we've got Leeds at the Fox and Newt in April, back to Barnsley in May. At the end of May, have we got something? No, we've got June, early June. We're in South Emsall with the 01977 Punk Club. They're doing a gig. They're putting on a gig at the Minsthorpe Hotel that we're on. It's for a 4-band showcase. We're hoping to get a spot at Barnsley Live in early June. Nothing's been confirmed, but we're confident. And then at the end of June, we're in Sheffield. We've got our first headline gig at the Washington in Sheffield. We're all quite nervous about that one because it's going to be the longest gig we've ever done. No, Jesse's not. Until we play Horseman, there's a there's a very, very fast-paced track called Horseman that we don't know where to put yet because it's when Jesse's going to be the what's optimum for the going the fastest that he'll have drummed for Misery Prize.
Warmed up, not first track on the set list. But I think you missed a couple there. We got a gig at the Bradford 1 in 12 club, which I'm looking forward to going back and playing there again. What else? We've got one at the Pack Horse in Leeds as well. That's another classic music venue on the scene. So yeah, I look forward to getting back to those places to play.
Fantastic. So not right now, because we've got plenty more to say. But when this is over and everybody goes to check out the socials, this is Misery Prize. If you're just joining us, by the way, kids, when you go check out the fantastic music that these guys are creating, so and you can get that pretty much everywhere, Spotify, and the usual.
Not on Apple Music. We got banned from Apple Music for hate speech, so don't go looking on there.
Yeah. Does anybody go looking on there for anything?
No.
But I'm just looking, and I'm thinking, there's also merch available, kids. I'm just guessing.
Yeah. You can get Misery Prize merch. You can get CDs. So we've got T-shirts available. If you search Misery Prize Dizzy Jam, it is all print-on-demand stuff as it stands. But yeah, we've got the Saints of Obscene there, the 3 Saints of Obscene from the album. We've got the logo hoodies. We've got mugs. That's my morning brew. Is usually drunk from a mug. And I'm looking at things like posters and stuff as well. But you can get our CDs on Bandcamp. CDs for the Saints of Obscene album are available on there. You also get stickers and badges free. It's a limited edition bundle pack of badges, stickers, and a CD.
So fucking professional. So, sod professionalism. Let's play a little bit of this or that. They can just take it in turns. No right or wrong answers. It's just bullshit. Cats or dogs?
Both.
Well, okay, fair enough.
If I had to choose a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I have to keep putting out this disclaimer because we're on the internet and we know what that's like. Like, you know, that just because Ryan might pick dogs doesn't mean he hates cats, right? He's not a cat hater. You don't have to go in the comments all like, boycott Misery Prize. I saw him kick a cat in the cunt or something. Like,
no,
you can stab both. Most people like both. It's just a bit of fun.
No,
Christ.
My cat is an absolute knobhead. Dogs. Dogs are more fun. Cats are arseholes, and I've only got a cat.
Cats are, but just keep checking. But every time you see a cat, kids, pick up the cat, because if cats ever get thumbs, we're fucked. Right? That's the end. People are worried about AI, right? If cats get thumbs, that's when it all ends. They will take over the world. So, beer or wine?
Beer.
Okay. So after that, pizza or kebab?
Kebab.
Yeah.
Bread, meat, lemon juice, chili sauce, salad, garlic mayonnaise. That's how you build the perfect kebab.
Chips every day of the week.
Go. Country retreat or city living?
Country for me. I'm a country boy.
City living.
Ooh. So, okay. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Neither.
Could be incredibly controversial in some episodes.
Fight Club.
All right. Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
Werewolf. Part-time thing, and I'd go for werewolf.
Yeah. I'm one of the hairiest men alive. But perhaps not as hairy as you.
It's all neck up and nothing.
Oh, apart from my forehead and the bottom of my feet, it's all hairy.
Would you rather date a vampire or a werewolf?
Or do what with them?
Well, werewolf. If I'm a werewolf, let's keep it. Let's keep it on.
Yeah.
On brick.
So, have either of you ever seen a UFO? Or actually UAP, as we're supposed to call them now. They've been rebranded.
I don't know if you call it unidentified. I saw on the dawn of the 1st of January 2000, so the dawn of the new millennium, me and a bunch of friends, having been partying all night, without having been to bed, got up to see the dawn rise, and there was the biggest, I don't know, we call it like a comet or something, like a absolutely enormous, blazing thing came
Fire in the sky
up from the horizon and then exploded into about 3 different smaller comets that just like flew off. And I'm not sure if we call it a UFO, but it was something pretty weird. And for a bunch of people,
if you don't know what it was, then it's unidentified. If it was in the air, then it was flying.
Yeah, a friend told me this story the other day and said that I had my shirt off while we were up on this hillside watching the dawn come up. And apparently, this is an army range down in South Wales near where I was brought up. And apparently, a chap came past in an army Land Rover and just looked me up and down with my shirt off and shook his head and drove off. This is like 6 o'clock in the morning or something, or 7 o'clock in the morning, January the 1st.
I haven't.
And
no,
he definitely has. Andy has. He told me a story about it. He saw it in his garden not long ago. Was it like a black orb or something? Apparently, it's quite a famous one. He's looked it up online.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Like the Black Orb of Otley?
Poole. Well, just on the road there where Andy lives in Poole. Yeah.
All right. Well, look his home.
No. You ever seen a ghost?
Well, I'd say I've seen things that I couldn't explain, but I wouldn't necessarily call them ghosts.
No.
No.
There was a time where my little sister, when you were younger, used to talk about a man that was that like at the end of the hallway in our from the point she started talking about this guy that was at the end of the hallway, we didn't go to the toilet in the dark when we were kids because of that guy. But no, I've never seen anything.
Seen anything? Well, to be fair, neither have I. Not a thing. I mean, I'm a firm believer there are many, many things in this world that I don't understand, that none of us understand. But yeah, when push comes to shove, if you can't, see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, fuck it, whatever. It's not an open mind, but yeah.
Life agnostic.
Yeah. So, do you get any time to watch much movies on TV, you guys?
Not really. Not my preferred activity.
Not so much anymore. I get a bit of TV with the missus. I might get on a weekend. I mean, back in the early 2000s, late 90s, I was mad into films. I had a massive VHS collection. I worked at Blockbuster Video and then worked at MVC in Barnsley, if you remember that, at the Alhambra. So I had a big VHS and then DVD collection as a younger single man. But yeah, as kids and wives drifted into my life, that's kind of become a luxury. I've been watching a few series on Netflix recently. I quite like the French one called The Furies. Have you seen that?
It's on the list.
Yeah, it's quite enjoyable. It's daft. I mean, I do like a lot of French cinema, Latin and Doberman, and the Vincent Cassel films from the early 2000s. Big into that kind of stuff. Still got those VHS in downstairs somewhere. No, DVDs. Sorry, I had them on VHS. I upgraded to DVD. So yeah, not so much anymore. But yeah, back in the day, I was a huge movie fan. Cinema all the time to see stuff on my own. Fight Club is my favourite film. That's why I mentioned it earlier on.
Yeah.
But yeah, saw that at pictures 5 times on my own. Big Lebowski. Everyone knows I love the Big Lebowski.
Hey.
The Coen brothers are another kind of like Beck. They've got the style, but everything's a different story, bringing something original and different to what they do. So yeah. So no, not so much recently. It's been a lot more TV, and the thing that's sort of stood out the most as a bit of daft action-packed stuff is The Furies. I'd recommend it.
Nothing wrong with daft and action-packed, which might possibly describe a Misery Prize gig.
It might. I just need
one thing that
to.
stood out for me has been that the Bear. That's one thing that I've watched in the past year that I did find that interesting. I'm
just going to grab my charger. I'll be back in a second.
Right, yeah. I'm not normally into like things that make you cringe, or things that induce anxiety. But like cringe comedy, I've never been into that. But there's something about the Bear, like just man, it's anxiety inducing, but in a good way. You know what I mean? It's the way it ratchets the tension up. Like every episode, is like, oh man, it's kind of it's always quite part of the entertainment is you're being toyed with. You can sense it's totally, you're aware the whole time that your emotional state is just being toyed with by the director of that.
Yeah.
I watched one of the worst films I've ever seen just the other week, and that was Napoleon, the Ridley Scott film.
Oh right, I've been
Didn't get on with that.
Avoiding it. I want to do it because it's kind of. I mean, I've always been into it, like whatever, like movies, music, comic books, video games. I'm an indoors kind of a person. But yeah, it's now since I started doing more of this, more social media stuff. Things are also now a bit more of a professional obligation because I kind of feel like I need to be on top of it, even if I wouldn't necessarily normally have watched it, because someone I have on might mention it and I want to be able to respond and shit.
Right.
So I've been kind of somewhat actively avoiding Napoleon. I know it's going to be beautiful to look at because it's Ridley Scott, from that point of view. But do I really give a rat's ass, like, storyline wise? I don't think I'm going to be, too immersed.
To me, there wasn't much of a story. It's kind of, I mean, if you know a bit of history, you know the story.
Yeah.
There was no real. I didn't seem like there was a great deal of character development in it. He's a pompous ass. His wife's, his wife. And that's it. And then it's just loads of big battles. I mean, if you like big battles, it's great, I guess. But it's like 3 hours and 40 minutes, and I quite like that back, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did much the same with Avatar and Avatar 2, because that's sort of like 3 hours 20-ish or something like that, and that's like nothing happens for kind of like 3 hours. I mean, like the first half hour of that film is like a TV show, because it's like a previously on Avatar, and it kind of replays fucking Avatar 1. So if you did miss it, it doesn't fucking matter. It's going to tell you everything anyway. In the second one, so that's half hour we didn't need necessarily, and then it's just again, it's beautiful, and it's all CG, and it's all very clever. Like as a work of art, like okay, I appreciate it, like the technical, logistical achievement, but like to entertain me as a film, to either like make me smile or get my heart going or make me cry or whatever. I was like, okay, blue people, fantastic.
Yeah, I think I get turned off by CGI personally, and I kind of watching something like Napoleon made me think, in the old days you'd have had 1,000 extras charging around the field, and it's all just CGI now. Well, a lot of it's CGI now. Hey, Ryan was just saying, worst film I've seen in a while is Napoleon. Give us your bottom 3 films you've ever seen.
Bottom 3. Bottom three. One is one from way back when called The Rollerblade 7. It's a film, I think it starred the siblings of all of the 80s. So Frank Stallone was in it. There might have been an Estevez. And I've only ever watched it once, but it always stuck in my mind as the worst film that I've ever seen in my life. And it was called Rollerblade 7. So, you know what? It could be a cinematic masterpiece, but yeah, as a kid, that was.
Am I imagining this? But is there a Robin Williams film called What Dreams May Come? I think that was one of the worst films I've ever seen as well.
That is is he? Yeah, is it like some like that? Yeah, that came out when I was working at Blockbuster. That was like a fantastical thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm thinking this is.
Yeah, that's probably Robin on the Disney contract being obliged to, like,
it came out Patch Adams era, yeah.
You've been signed up for 5, Robin, so if you want to go make something decent, you've just got to get these knocked out and then off you can fuck. Because damn, he was a good actor.
Yes.
A really fucking good actor. Favorite
Excellent.
Robin Williams film after Good Will Hunting would be 1 Hour Photo. He played such a
stalky one, isn't it?
Bad guy, yeah. And it's like the complete opposite of the Robin Williams everybody loves. I know we can do like Dead Poet Society or whatever, but he's still the nice guy, however serious he can be, but he's still the nice guy. In that, he's such a creepy bastard and so believable. You forget it. That's not Robin Williams. That's not Mork. That's a real creepy bastard. And yeah, I always try and recommend that people you like Robin Williams, try that. You won't like him, but it'll take your sort of respect for his acting talent even further. Very cool. But yeah, I mean, God, this is so many bad films. I have a thing for quite liking bad films. I mean, there's bad films and there's bad films. There's like just films you don't enjoy. You just did nothing for you, and you want your 2.5 hours back. And then there's films that are just like a bit. How the fuck? Where was quality control with this thing? And if you can kind of laugh at it, you can sort of enjoy it in its own kind of B-movie sort of way. Especially a lot of cheap science fiction or really like cheesy action films. I feel like old late 70s, early 80s action movies that all have like 17 sequels as well. All like it is the same character, but it's always played by a different actor or something because it's not really a sequel. They just somehow they thought we needed to keep the name as if there's a franchise to cash in on when the first film was a failure to start with. But yeah, here we are on American Ninja 19. So, but yeah, I like that shit now and again. Yeah, so watching stuff's a bust. So you don't got much time for reading then, either much these days, I guess.
Not so much now. It has been. I've been. Yeah, I guess I go through phases of stuff. Reading favorite authors is Chuck Palahniuk. Again, I mean, Fight Club kind of kicked that one off, and I'll keep talking about Fight Club. But again, the way he writes stuff is he takes an idea that's just such an odd idea, and then just stretches it to the absolute limit in terms of the credibility of it, but to the point where it becomes believable in that, you know what, this could actually happen, or he's got a really cool book called Lullaby, which is about he takes the idea of like the African death song, and somebody somehow stumbles across it, and he begins to use the lullaby as he almost becomes an unwitting hitman by using this death song to do exactly that. So that kind of stuff. He takes that one little idea and then stretches it. Choke is a great one as well. And yeah, all of Chuck Palahniuk's stuff between sort of like the mid 90s, mid 2000s are absolutely incredible reads, and I recommend them to anybody. Irving Welsh stuff is amazing as well. The way that I mean, he started to lose it a little bit when he was started recycling and rehashing characters and wringing as much as he could out of old characters instead of taking new ideas. So the Begbie character or the entire cast of Train Spotting that he rings out, but in things like the bedroom secrets of the master chefs and the sex lives of Siamese twins, when he goes a little bit more fantastical for me is when he's on absolute top form. I really do like the stuff like Glue and Train Spotting, Porno and that kind of stuff. But for me, is when he sort of drops that and goes for an original idea is when he really stands out. Aside from the early stuff, Filth and what have you are amazing books, and the way that it's very much uncompromising in the written in the Scottish vernacular, and everything's very it's almost written by the Scottish for the Scottish, and if you choose to try and understand it, then happy days, you're going to enjoy it. But that kind of stuff, Irving Welsh, Chuck Palahniuk, for me, Hubert Selby Jr. I don't know if you've ever read or seen Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, right.
Oh, mate, have you seen it? Yeah, that.
I should probably do that again. Actually.
Yeah, it's not for anybody who's feeling down. I don't think it's the peaks. It goes from the gutter to just sticking its head above the gutter a little bit, and then back to way down. But so well made. And Darren Aronofsky, again, from a film perspective, Darren Aronofsky is brilliant at what he does. Pi, have you seen Pi?
No.
It's the best Jewish black and white maths thriller you're ever going to see.
Okay. I mean, when there's so many good ones to choose from, that's.
I know. So Pi is. I picked up on him with Pi and but yeah, Hubert Selby Jr., Requiem for a Dream, Last Exit to Brooklyn, superb books.
Right. So,
can I just say, Ryan lent me a book. It was, I think, it might be the last book I actually read cover to
Drumming
cover.
for Dummies.
It was Anthony Kiedis's ghost-written autobiography.
Oh.
And I liked the Chili Peppers as a kid. I still like the sort of late 80s output, funky stuff.
Yeah.
But man, and to be honest, the only reason I took it off Ryan, he was taking it to the junk shop, I think. I took it off him because I'd read Flea's autobiography and really enjoyed that first volume. I thought, interesting to see what Anthony Kiedis had to say. I knew already he was a bit of a cock end, to put it mildly. But Christ, that book, you'd have thought, A, it's ghost written, B, it's meant to be an autobiography. You'd have thought they'd be able to paint him in a slightly better light. He comes across as one of the worst human beings that's ever walked the earth. I mean, it's incredible.
There was a time, as you say, if you've got to go back, well, the earlier Chili Peppers output, and where they could do no wrong for me. I was as Ryan said, anyone who does something a little bit different and who ventures, it's different in the first place from almost all the other kind of mainstream rock bands, and then even within the space of one album, each track is pretty fucking different to the one before it. And I was big into that Frusciante as a guitarist. Not that I would try and emulate anything like that. It's not my style at all. But to listen to, I mean, I just thought, dude, and seeing him live and watching Frusciante, he's one of those guys just goes in his own world, and he's off on some other fucking plane, and it's great. But yeah, when it gets to like Hey Ho Snow, it's like you're not trying, guys. Not. I kind of wish they'd just stop.
There's a few bands like
brutally honest. I wish they'd just stop.
Them and Pearl Jam should have stopped about 10 albums ago, in my opinion. So
I don't know, but Pearl Jam. I mean,
your mileage may vary.
I'll do it. I'll do I'll do me an Eddie Vedder impression. Because who can't do an Eddie Vedder impression? You know.
Have you got a ukulele, Andy?
Oh, you don't do it. You just go, hey, ho, hibby dibby dibby da, hibby do di boo da. There you go. For any Pearl Jam song. It's worse than Metallica and just James Hetfield spends 2 hours going, oh yeah! That's it.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Nuts. You ever think you could achieve that level of power as a frontman? Right? You said the gigs are going well. People are getting dancier and more up for it. You think you could ever achieve the James Hetfield level of power where 2 words, one of them isn't, I don't know if O's really a word, and like an arena full of people can just go ape shit as if you've done something incredibly deep, meaningful, and spectacular.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the word is cunt.
Yeah.
Well, the crowds are cheering every time you say cunt, and they're actually egging Ryan on to say cunt more, aren't they?
I mean, has Instagram had the Carlin test?
What? What's the Carlin test?
Yeah, George Carlin. The 7 words you can't say on television.
Right.
Right. Well, he's getting the Carlin test right now. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits.
Right. Yeah.
Are we still here? Okay, we're still here. That's great. I'll do it again. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits. We're still here. Great.
Excellent.
Love Instagram then. Fantastic. Fuck censorship. So that's great. So
yeah. Well,
how about this one? Where to go with this? So inevitably, with all the fame and fortune to come, when they make the Netflix Misery Prize movie, who do you want to play you?
Who's going to play Mo? Well, when I was younger, one person once said, "You look like Jared Leto." When I was younger, skinnier, had longer hair. Someone went 30 Seconds to Mars. I think that was his band.
Yeah.
An old. He can play anything. He can play anything. So I'll get him to fatten up a little bit, grey his beard up. I think Paul Rudd could play Jesse.
Not familiar with Paul Rudd. I was going to suggest Timothée Chalamet for me, actually. Couldn't be less likely or similar to me physically. I was going to say for you, Ryan, it could be what about Russell Crowe. He's coming to the
Russell Crowe.
Summer, I believe.
I'd take Russell Crowe. I'd take anybody. If it gets to that point, then yeah, they could have any. Samuel L. Jackson can play me. It's fine.
Yeah. So
he's been in everything. I'm sure he can play me.
Yeah. So it's going to be The Rock, Ben.
Yeah.
If you leave it up to the execs, it's The Rock.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I always figure, the movie of my life. I figure it'd be Jack Black, but I know it'll be Peter Dinklage. But to be fair, I'll take it.
Yep. Why not? Like you say, if you get to the point where your life's been achieved movie worthy, then you've achieved something. Unless you've murdered somebody.
Well, even that, it's an achievement.
It's quite a high bar you're setting there, Ryan. To claim you've achieved something in life, you've got to have a movie made about you. So it's
the only way.
That's the 21st. Fucking hell. It is the 21st century yardstick, I think, and it's not even that high. I mean,
no.
If anybody at this point, anybody with 100 followers is probably going to get that call anytime. And you get that, like, you assume it's some kind of like spam virus, fucking malware email from Netflix. It's probably not. It probably really is them offering you a great big bag of cash for the rights to make your movie.
Yeah,
I'm expecting it coming. I should be doing it. If I keep this up every week, I'm expecting the Christmas special. If I don't at least get that Christmas special, if things keep going the way they are, because I'm doing all right, and I'm not even trying. I mean,
You deserve it.
I'm not interested in monetizing this shit or whatever. It's fun. First and foremost, it's fun for me. I get to meet interesting people. I get something to do for a couple of hours. Gets me kind of out of my own head. Gets me out of my comfort zone a little bit. Not as much as I thought it would, because initially I wanted to do everything like in person. I was hoping to find maybe rent a little space. I could maybe invite people to and have a couple of cameras and and film it and get to meet people in person and all that, because especially like post pandemic we're not doing that still nearly enough, I don't think. But the more I reached out trying to get people, besides renting a little place to do it being ridiculously expensive, and I probably decided I can't do that, so I'll have to find some kind of alternative. When reaching out to people, you artistic types, on the one hand, you could be up on stage in front of fuck knows how many people, screaming, shouting, jumping around, whipping your clothes off, and all of that shit. But then when you say, do you want to talk to me for an hour just about yourself and movies and music, it's like, oh no, I don't think I'm up for that. I'm shy. And I get it. I get that it's a lot. It's a very common thing. It really is. But that doesn't help me. It's just selfish. Not thinking about me. That doesn't help me. There's so many great people that I would love to have on here that I just like. It's just a step too far for them, or at least right now. And I keep in touch, and I keep giving little nudges, and I keep asking, because I'm like, but your shit's really good, whatever it might be. So try and get people on. It's easier to get people in bands on because you've got something to sell. If it's just upcoming gigs or if it's new material, they've always got something to sell. There's multiple members. At least one of them's probably going to be up for it. But I'm trying to get a few more, whether it's like an author, a painter, drawer, actor, comedian, whatever, makeup artist or something would be great. Shit like that, because bands are cool. And I've been in bands for many, many years, and it's great. But just to diversify the episodes a little bit would be good.
You should just do some like pop-up interviews at gigs. It's like
Yeah,
outside gigs.
I used to do that with I used to do, like, the band I was in. I used to do quick little. I used to have 5 questions, and I used to just grab the other bands to one side, take them outside or whatever, and give them a quick like 5-question kind of a thing. I used to ask like 4 bullshit like cats or dogs questions, and then I'd hit them with like, if you had to fuck a band member, like it's life or death. It's your kid's life or death, who would it be? And it just threw them right off. And that used to be quite amusing.
Both of them.
At the same time.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Like I said to Johnny before, experimentation is the spice of life.
I might choose death, to be honest.
Too late. You have to be first.
Yeah. Like so misery. Well, one shot, but misery prize are trapped on a desert island. So there's 3 of you. So you can save one.
Andy will die within a week because he basically only eats processed and beige-coloured food. So Andy's going to die anyway. So there's no point trying to save him.
Freezer tapas all the way.
We're both looking forward to touring with Andy to see what he actually does eat. He told us on Sunday that he can't eat anything with mayonnaise in it, and I can't comprehend it. We tell him about what we're eating, and he says it's too colourful. Or he either says it's too colourful or too much flavour.
Vinegar, don't like vinegar.
Oh, you can't eat.
Sorry, Andy. He'll be watching this afterwards, Andy. I'm sorry. You won't eat brown sauce?
No brown sauce, though.
So, what animal? Let's just get nuts for a bit, and I'll let you get off. What animal do you think best represents you?
thought you were going to say, what animal do you want to eat, fuck, or possess?
Hey, if you want to go with that, let's go with that.
Porcupine for all three.
A bear, but a very lazy bear. A panda or something.
I think it's a
post-hibernation. What is the problem? Pandas. If there's any pandas watching, if you want to get up in the comments, what is your fucking problem? I mean, why would you actively want to be extinct? You know, I mean, we've had these guys with like mood lighting and all the bamboo you can eat and Barry White's on in the background. There's some scented candles. Will they fuck? No. You know, we don't.
It's the bamboo's problem, isn't it?
You know,
the bamboo's like
turn the cameras off and they still just won't do it.
Yeah, the bamboo's an anti-aphrodisiac. That is literally the problem. They get such little nutrition out of their only food source. They basically have zero energy.
Pretty fucking large animal have their only food source be something with like almost negligible nutritional content. That's so fucked up.
But their main kind of main thing in life, it seems, is just Instagram fodder, from what I've seen. So yeah, they're good Instagram fodder.
But of the bears, not just of the bears. I don't know if you've heard this theory before, but the highest deified form of life on the planet, if you believe in a kind of reincarnation, sort of some cultures have it around 7 times or so before you reach kind of state of nirvana or godhead or whatever it might be called. But the highest deified form of life on the planet, koala.
Yeah,
koala. Bear with me. A koala. How about this for a lifestyle? You know, sleeps for 23 hours a day, right? With that hour it's awake, its sole diet is eucalyptus, where it lives in a eucalyptus tree and has to like reach approximately 3 centimeters to reach something to eat after it's woken up. Eucalyptus, a well-known hallucinogen, so it has breakfast, gets high as a kite, just fucks off back to sleep within the hour. That's its life. Not to mention that, you know, most people just think they're incredibly, incredibly cute. Women will go gaga over them, and their pee smells of peppermint. Right? So this woman wants to cuddle you, hug you, press you against the boobs. Even if you piss on her, she doesn't really mind. You're off your tits, and then you're back to sleep. Not a bad life. You know, except for being in Australia. But they seem to be at no threat from all the giant spiders, so like it's all good. I mean, can I get a witness? I'll be live a good life. The moral of the story is live a good life, kids. Make good choices. Maybe be a koala one day.
Be nice.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not particularly productive or creative or whatever, but if you do all that in your previous lives, then you know that's your chill, that's your reward, that's your chill reward at the end.
I mean, they might be incredibly creative. We just don't know about it. With all that tripping, they could be. You know, God knows what's going on in their tiny little minds.
Every time he wakes up, he's like, "Oh, I better get that move. I've got a script idea, and I'm going to write that script tomorrow. I'm going to write that script when I wake up. I am going to write such a great movie. Maybe tomorrow."
Yeah, but all koalas are like, I am the lizard king. I can do anything. All in the leather trousers but never quite get there. I don't know where this is going. I really don't know where this is going. If you met God, if you could meet God and ask her, because God's a woman. If you met God, and it's definitely a woman, right? I think that's kind of.
My mum says, so it's got to be true. She says if there is a God, and I don't believe there's a singular.
If there is a God in the kind of Judeo-Christian concept, I guess, of a God, then it's a woman. On that, you know, if you go Old Testament, you know, vengeful, wrathful God, sounds like a lot of women. I know. If you go New Testament, it's all fucking divine forgiveness. You know, so you know, mood swings.
Schizophrenic female God.
Yeah, possibly a Canadian. you know. So yeah, so you get to meet God. You can ask her one question. What do you ask?
Where are the rest of them?
I don't know. Can you send me back? Can you send me back to when I was 20, knowing everything that I know now?
Ooh.
Let me live it again, but yeah, equipped with the knowledge, and then I'll be a god by the end of it.
Yeah. You know what I want to know?
Go on.
Duck-billed platypus. What the
Why?
fuck? Pick an animal already. Is it a beaver? Is it a duck? Pick one. How did that happen?
Sex.
You know?
Right.
You know, it's a mammal, but it lays eggs. It's a beaver, but it's got a beak. I'm so confused. I'm a simple man, you know, just made of clay. I can't cope with a duck-billed platypus. It's too much for me. It hurts. Why would you do that? It's just, why would you do that? Why would you make the daddy long legs like the most fucking of the most? Is it right? It's the most like venomous animal on the planet, but it has no fangs or something, so it can't use it. That's the mysterious ways people talk about, isn't it? Not Bono, because fuck that guy. So come on. So okay, we've got some musicians here. This is Misery Prize. Let's talk about some music. We've talked briefly about inspirations. What about? Now, I've asked this before to people. I don't do the guilty pleasures thing because I like what I like. I ain't ashamed of nothing. But I don't want to use that as a thing. But either something where that people might be surprised, because you know, like people are often surprised to find out how much rap and hip hop that I like. Mainly old school, but I like some new stuff too. You know, they just take one look at me and assume it's like metal all the way, and like it's so not. But also something that might be a little bit embarrassing, or you know, maybe you if you look back at your collection, you kind of think, what was I thinking? You know, a purchase back in the day, and like, no, not anymore. What was that all about?
The first band I ever saw live was E17 at the Sheffield Arena.
That's wrong, that.
Bad boy.
See you later.
Bad boy.
Bye then. Yeah, no, it was back I think pop again. It was the Nows. A lot of the music that I wasn't sort of. I didn't have too much of a musical influence. Everything I found by myself, and it was largely through the Now albums of the early '90s and what have you. And yeah, E17, Steam was one of the albums that I ended up picking up along the way.
That, and I own that.
Oh,
I was
owning that
a little bit of that.
But the thing, my now wife, was also at the same concert. Yeah, Peter Andre supported. But yeah, E17, they came down on little ropes, and it was the Steam tour. I went with three of my mates from school. We were like, well, we're going to go on the pull. There's going to be lots of girls here as well. E17, we like this album. And the first bunch of girls that we got talking to, and they all went, "Well, are you all gay?" We're like, no, we actually quite like E17, and no, we're in. But yeah, no, my now wife was also at that concert, and that's a bit of a. So yeah, the Steam album is it's not a guilty pleasure, as I say. You own whatever you like, whatever you've been into. It's shaped who you are, what you do, and all that. But yeah, I would guess a surprising thing was for me shouting CUNT at the top of my lungs. E17 were the first band name. So, who's this?
I wouldn't call it a guilty pleasure, but it's like was she a Swedish pop singer called Annie Brun. She's I don't know, not in the metal or thrashy or otherwise industrial music genre, but yeah, I quite enjoy that from time to time. Just a couple of random things that I've got, LPs that I've been listening to recently. Went to see this guy play for this album tour. He's a good kind of Americana. I don't know what you call it really. I'm not very good with genres. Americana, country style, I suppose. But his albums are quite lo-fi, but live he's rocking. He always has a really, really rocking backing band with him. And this time around we saw him in, what was that, like end of last year, maybe beginning of this year in Manchester. And his dad was on bass with his band. Epic. Totally epic. Yeah. But yeah, stuff that again, not a guilty pleasure, but stuff I listen to that my other half takes the royal piss out of me for listening to. What springs to mind is someone you mentioned earlier, John Frusciante. One of his solo albums, I think it's called Empyrean. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, there's some. I mean, I enjoy listening to it, but some of it is a bit like stretching to the "it's so bad it's good" sort of end of the spectrum. If you know what I mean, like there's some really, really random stuff on there, but yeah, I enjoy listening to it. Yeah, I enjoy all sorts. Yeah.
Right.
One thing I do, what calms me down when I want to write something, if I'm sitting down and I'm actively writing something, or if I need to concentrate, the soundtrack of choice is the Jan Tiersen score to Amelie. So the instrumental, the accordions, the pianos on that. So when I'm writing a lot of stuff, I do sit and I don't like to listen to anything with any words or anything like that.
Yeah.
I like to listen to instrumentals. So the Jan Tiersen album of Amelie, and there is a crossover to the Goodbye Lenin soundtrack as well. Both that's a German film. Both of them are by the same guy, and yeah, that's my sort of getting into the zone music is listening to that. Something that's just it just brings me right down to it.
If I listened to anything, when I wanted to write, I would not copy it, but mimic it. So I had to purposely not listen to anything, even instrumental stuff. I would just still, the instrumental parts of what I was writing, I would still be in the vein of whatever I was listening to. On the one hand, I'm quite good at that. There's a certain talent to, whatever it might be, I could kind of turn my hand to it, whatever genre or whatever. But on the other hand, I'd kind of write something, think this is pretty good, and then when you like take it to rehearsal and you really hear it as the rest of the band starts getting the feel for it, joining in, and then it kind of the penny drops like, this isn't mine. So I couldn't listen to anything. I had to purposely kind of try and stay away from things if I wanted to write. If I wanted to kind of, just clear some space at a desk and write, which is not the most conducive way to try and be creative and inspired, but you haven't always got a dictaphone or the chance to stop and scribble something when that inspiration strikes, when that rhyming couplet pops in your head, or just when that thing happens, when you see that thing on the news, or when you just witness something in real life and it's something you could write about, and you've got to wait till later and kind of save it and mull on it and try and do it later. If I was to get home and like put some music on and sit down and write, I'd write in the style of what I was listening to.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do that.
Yeah, no, it's got to be Amelie. I don't know why, but it just, or if I'm feeling particularly stressed about anything, stick that on and just, honestly, best score of any film ever for me.
That's good. So just because you're a predominantly electronic band with a very live drummer, which I just find that concept just right out the bat like way more interesting than your standard rock group. I'm hoping to get to your Sheffield gig. It's not too far away from me, and that's May. Is that May?
And
Or is that later?
end of June.
End of June. Well, but I should still be able to make it. I hope. But yeah, just because you're mainly electronic band doesn't mean you necessarily like a lot of electronic, or for want of better phrases, industrial or techno or whatever you want to call it. But are there any kind of predominantly electronic based artists that you particularly like?
No.
No, it's just that we. Sparks. No. Well, I really like Sparks, but they're not. They're slightly a different beast altogether. But it's
Andy and Ryan dragged me to see the big special. When was that? Was that
big special in December?
December, wasn't it?
There's a lot of bands kind of doing. They've got it's the what's it called, the Sprechstigang, is it? It's like a spoken singing kind of thing. So we saw like Benefits recently, and I've mentioned Sleaford Mods, but we feel that's a bit of a lazy comparison to what we do because we're better, and we've got a real drummer, and more. Yeah, we even though we're samplers, we play everything that we do is played. Whatever the instrument that we've got, whatever the platform that we're not the platform, but yeah, whatever the tools that we're using, everything is played. When you see Misery Prize, it's all played by one of us. Obviously, with the percussion that's the analog.
We should be brutally honest about this, though, Ryan. We did in the early rehearsals try to play along to longer samples, partly to make your with the pressing the buttons, and I couldn't keep time with the sample was more than about 2 bars long, so that went straight out the window, and Ryan had to learn how to press buttons in time
and shout things at the same time. Yeah, it's a bit of a running joke is that whatever we've got on the demos, if it's 30 minutes, if it's a 30-minute set that we've got on the demos, it's probably going to be 27 minutes because Jesse drums that bit faster than the demo stuff, and you know what, it makes for more energy. Exactly, and he wouldn't have it any other way. Neither would we. And yeah, no, there's every bit of feedback we've got, everything that we've put out, and what you've listened to, and anything that you've heard without seeing us, you're gonna witness 2 completely different things. I promise you. Is the stuff that we've got out there and that's on the Spotify's and what have you, apart from Apple, is a completely different beast to when you see us live. Everything is more energetic. It's more aggressive. Honestly, we've got some gigs coming up where we've got one day after the other, and I'm very nervous about that because I tend to need a good few days, a good week for my throat to settle down after screaming CUNT and everything else. I'd say you may have heard, you will have heard, hopefully, that you chose to be a cunt. That is a very, it's an epic mellow kind of tune, and then it builds up and builds up and builds up. It's when you listen to it, when you watch it live, it is, I think if we ever make his name, it's going to be as a live band, and until we've got more tracks out with Jesse on there that are a lot more as we are now, and the identity that we've got. But yeah, what's turning people onto us more at the minute is the live stuff.
That particular track is an interesting one because that sort of stuff I've never played, like music with drum parts as sparse as that before. That's a totally new thing for me. So I kind of surprised myself that it's actually still quite fun to play. You don't have to be thrashing around the whole kit for 2.5 minutes. That's some of that stuff has been good. And we've got some new tracks to come as well, which are in a sort of similar vein, aren't they? With sparse sections and different bit more of a dynamic range, I suppose, which is a bit of a new thing for me as a somewhat limited drummer in terms of skills.
But whatever you've heard in the first 16 tunes that are out, the stuff that we're releasing from April the 5th onwards, with everything that's going to have Jesse on the drums, it's going next level. From not just like the music of it as well, but the themes of it and lyrically. The second album, to me, feels like it's almost a concept album about everything that is contributing to the absolute impending apocalypse, the impending apocalypse that we're all sitting on the cusp of. But I'm very excited, and I'm jealous of anybody that hasn't heard it yet.
Yeah. So it's try and do keep it inclusive, but so as a front man, do you just get up there and let it happen, or do you ever not like throw shapes in front of the mirror and choreograph, but sometimes get ideas like I'd like to do this or do that, or like maybe things you might want to, you feel like I'm going to say that, like in between songs, something you sort of like pre-script, something you think I'm going to say this and see how it goes down with the crowd in between, or do you just turn up and see what happens?
I don't know. It's with the literally, I've only ever been up on stage 3 times in my life with this stuff. Like with Misery Prize, it's the first band I've ever been in. The 3 gigs that we've done are the only 3 gigs I've ever done. These guys have been in bands before, and so as it's, I don't know. I kind of just we do have when we're rehearsing, we're like, well, we'll say something here. We'll pause and we'll say something, and then that doesn't happen. It's just the gig has to happen as it happens.
Yeah.
If there is a point that there's been times where we've gone 5 or 6 tracks without saying anything, so you kind of almost feel obliged to. I mean, the last gig that we did was we'd already pushed his luck. It was like, right, you've got 35 minutes, and then well, can we have 40? And can we have 40? Because we keep adding these tracks, and we don't want to lose anything, because everything that we're practicing. So it gets to a point where we don't want to talk too much, because if I talk for 2 minutes, that's another song that we're depriving the people of. We're depriving these punters of a tune about influencers. That is, I mean, that we did that, but then there's the I Don't Want You Here was, that was the one that we're releasing in next. That was we came up with that. We had the gig on Friday, and we came up with the idea of doing that on the Sunday before. It were like it would be really cool if we do a spoken word bit. Just stop everything, and I'll just start shouting at the crowd, and I'll write something. So that was on Sunday. Nothing was written. By Monday, was it about Tuesday, Jesse, that we by Tuesday I was like, right, I've written this. These guys didn't know what it sounded like. It was just like, these are the words. What do you think to that? And then by Wednesday I'd had a go of it. And then by Friday it was like, right, okay, so this is it. So we just stopped everything. I'm going to do this spoken word piece that's a minute long, that's going to kick into this song. That's the only really preemptive anything that we've done. Everything else really is just, unless I'm misremembering anything, Jesse, that's pretty much
and that's kind of that is fairly in keeping with the level of preparation. We've done gigs where, it's only been 3 so far, but we've done gigs where we've basically rehearsed a new track that's just from a demo the week before, and that's it, and just play it at a gig. I think we're not that precious about things being perfect, or I think some of the drum patterns I play evolve. I think realistically I'm not playing the same thing twice exactly the same, which not necessarily ideal for the other musician singular in the band. But that's good in a way. I think that's a good thing to not get too hung up on precious about perfection, because it should just be about feel and playing in the moment and getting on with
I've seen really, really, really good bands and been bored shitless and hated it. It's like, they're so good. It's like listening to the album at home on headphones. So what's the fucking point? Why am I here then? I kind of like it when there's that extra, whether it's just because it's a bit more, whether it's more stripped down because it's live from all the bells and whistles and overproduced bullshit they might have put on the album, or whether it's maybe a bit more like yourselves when it's more when it's live and you didn't really necessarily expect it to hit like that. There used to be a Japanese band that I really liked called Mad Capsule Markets, the kind of mid 90s, very, very early 2000s, and I really liked their albums. But then live, they were all like very, very sample heavy and lots of like sort of dance rhythms and stuff, but essentially a 3-piece punk band, but with all this electronica going on. And it was like, but live, they were just a fucking beast. It was ridiculous. It was the same when I saw the Prodigy live. Like I had the first couple of albums, and it was like, yeah, I like this. You get the chance to see it live, you go, and it was like, fuck. That was a big live act. Before they were big, but even like just the Jilted Generation album, and the first one, and even then it was just something. It was a completely different animal to the album, completely different, and I love that. I like those experiences, and I haven't had them often enough. So when I get that experience, when I get the Misery Prize version of that, I genuinely am quite looking forward to that. I don't know. I should really have to fucking justify myself, but I do only get people on here. I don't get people on here. I do get people on here for my benefit because I want to do it, but I don't get them on for. I don't want to ride anybody's coattails for likes and followers or whatever for my channel. I get stuff on once I've been put onto it, however, that I genuinely like and just think I'd like to do my little bit for what it's worth to promote that because I like it. I think other people should at least give it a go, No,
I appreciate it.
I'm genuinely looking forward to it, to testing that, to putting that live experience to the test. I really am. It's right up my alley, and I don't let just anyone up there. It's a special private place.
Well, and we're going to blow your socks off.
I really hope so, and I expect so. I expect. Maybe, I don't know if England expects just yet, but Johnny expects.
Yorkshire.
Well, we're going to fulfil that. I expect. Tie your shoelaces extra tight because shoes are going off as well. Otherwise, you're going out barefoot. I promise you.
I have lost so many shoes. Not so much as an old man, but back in the day, I have lost so many shoes at gigs. At least I think that's what happened. All I know is I woke up and couldn't find my shoes.
Where shoes you'd be happy to lose?
Yeah, we haven't done any stage diving yet, but that's where you lose your shoes and your shirt and your wallet and everything else.
So just perhaps perhaps just let yourselves go in the realms of like pure fantasy, perhaps. Although not necessarily. What would be like what's like a dream achievement, like a particular like iconic venue you'd like to play and sell out or something like that, or
Ryan's got one.
appear on a certain TV show or just I don't know.
It's not that. It's not like I want to. Well, it's not like headlining Glastonbury. All I want to do is play the Broodnail in Leeds, and that's my favourite venue that I've seen so many bands at. That's the iconic venue for me as a gig goer. It's not none of the academies and the sponsored by O2 kind of stuff. The venue that I've had the best gigs at has been the Broodnail. Once I've played there, these two can get stuffed. I'm done. I'm out of here. No, but yeah, personally, the Brunel, just the venues that I've seen bands at. No, I don't want.
No.
I don't necessarily want to be playing to the. But again, that's something that's special. So this is just as a personal thing. Any venues that I have seen my favourite bands at, I'd like to follow in their footsteps. And I've always maintained. I'm 44 now. I've come into this very late. As I say, these guys have been in bands for ages. I'm like, I've only even had this get any inkling of a dream for the last few years. And it's like, okay, so this is something that we could do. We could get on at the Brood now. I could play Kendall Calling, and and that is just So people that were me 15 years ago, or 20 years ago, when I'm going to these gigs, if I can be that guy on stage, that's the dream for me. That's the dream. Just standing up there and people going, you know what, this is brilliant. And if they like the message that we've got, because everything that we do has got a message, and it's largely don't be a dickhead. It's if you're not a dickhead and you don't want people to be a dickhead, you're going to enjoy what we do.
Over to you.
Getting asked to be in a band that actually has gigs, that's probably enough for me, to be honest.
That's a fantastic indictment for any past.
I haven't got any objectives. I was going to say that we've got a theoretical invitation to play a gig in Poland at the end of the year, so that'll be a highlight. Never played in a band abroad before, so that'll be good. When you were chatting earlier on about Christmas specials, and getting an invitation for Christmas special, I reckon you should shoot for Jules Holland's Hootenanny. Get on there. You get on there, and you can fight us on.
Yeah. I mean, that would be pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's what it once was. I used to tune in like quite religiously once upon a time. Yeah. I haven't watched for a while though.
Yeah, no, it's not even live, is it? I mean, it's shocking. These stanzas have slipped there badly.
Yeah, but like you said, just playing the venues, doing that switch around when you're from the audience to the stage is pretty cool. Being more Rotherham Sheffield side based myself, the fact that I could play the Boardwalk at Sheffield when that was still a thing, not the greatest venue by any means, tiny little sticky floored shithole of a venue as it was, but when you're playing the venue that was the first venue that the Clash played outside of London, and you're a little punk kid, that's pretty fucking cool. Just there's so many decades of a gap between it happening. It's not like they played last week or anything, but that was still like, Clash played here, I played here, and now it's gone. So like, other people can't do what I did. No, so that's I've got that at least. I was. Oh God, I forget the venue now. There's a place, because there was a time it was like just fucking Gigarama all the fucking time, and it kind of blurs into one of it. There's a place, I want to say Leeds way on, and it was that in the week prior to us playing, we're within 7 days of me getting up and playing. Both Joe Strummer and the Mascaleros, as he was doing at the time, and Stiff Little Fingers, if that means anything to any of you guys, had played within 7 days of me getting up, and it was like, that's right, they were stood right fucking here, If that was little things that just help, just give a little edge.
That might have been,
hopefully,
in the Duchess, I reckon. That if it was those sorts of acts on there.
Is the what?
Not there anymore. The Duchess. That sounds like it might have been the Duchess. It's a classic old venue in Leeds, but it's a Hugo Boss shop now. Sadly,
it was like, listen for the beats, get in the van, and just fucking go. It was like, where are we? the kind of sort of like Spinal Tap. Good evening, Cleveland, and you're in New York or whatever. It's like I would get it wrong all the time. I would never like bother to do that. I mean, not my style anyway, to give a big American like fucking hello. But yeah, I never knew where we were half the time. When it was when I thought it was good. I thought it was good that we were really busy. I don't want to say in demand because that would mean that I wasn't working really hard trying to book all these gigs as if they were just coming to us. But we were really busy, and that was the end. That was the doom. Because of band members and the attitude of all my days off are turning into band days, which to me was like, yeah, that's the point, right?
Yeah.
But they you know, when you get to a certain level and there's a certain level of commitment required, and it's not for everybody, and it's not easy to do. If you're thinking, you know, I can put my eggs in this basket, I can, you know, leave my day job and try and do this, or you know, if the partner is kind of missing you because you're away all the time between rehearsals, interviews, gigs, photo shoots, all of that shit, and you're not at home all that much, and you're not taking her to the cinema or the restaurant all that much, and it can become an issue. And I get it. I've been lucky enough to be really well supported in that department, but not everybody is, and it's understandable. But that was kind of my downfall. The better we did, the worse it was for other members, unfortunately. Although they've got great happy lives. I'm sure they don't regret it or miss it at all, like I do. And I could have been in Tokyo, and we didn't. Actually, that was the thing. That was a big. That was like the sort of a bucket list thing for me. There was two ridiculous things that I wanted to do the silly like big in Japan kind of a thing. I wanted to do the kind of like 5 gigs in fucking 12 days kind of a thing in Japan, and I could have. It was ready to go. The offer was there, and I could have took it, but I'm not a solo artist. And I thought the big dream would be if I got tapped for wanting to use one of my songs in a Tarantino movie. I thought, yeah, that's it. Then I can like kind of die happy, or I can quit at least. That'd be pretty fucking cool because he kind of knows how to use music in a movie to good effect. If he wanted one of mine, hey, can have it for fucking free.
I don't know. He'd probably not use a Misery Prize tune.
No.
Hey,
Not bleak.
never know. Dude's got
Too northern chuntercore for him.
I know. Who can say? Dude's got pretty eclectic taste. You never know. But he's only got one more movie and he's done. One more movie.
Yeah, I read it.
And he's out.
I read it were going to be there were potentially going to be a third Kill Bill with Uma Thurman's daughter. I read that today.
Yeah.
But then there's the other ones like the Reviewer or something like that. Is it called? Or but yeah, no. Jackie Brown's the best Tarantino film for me.
It's great. It's also a great book. But
big Elmore Leonard. I read a lot of Elmore Leonard in my teenage years.
I like Jackie. Pam Grier's fucking excellent, absolutely excellent in that. And she's great in most things, but she's absolutely fucking blows it out of the park in that. But yeah, I think it'll probably end up being a Kill Bill Volume 3, or not a Volume 3, but Kill Bill, because I think he's said lots of times he loves the kung fu stuff, and I think he's been on record saying many times at the end of making Volume 2 he learnt how to make a kung fu film, but it's too late now. So to go back in, though he doesn't tend to like repeating himself, but I think that's the one thing where he might go there. It seems most likely. He has written a Star Trek movie as well, which will never happen. He's given up the script, and the powers that be in charge of Star Trek don't want to know. But it'd be interesting. Be interesting. I mean, and sci-fi's probably the one thing he hasn't really done. So I was kind of predicting he'd do a sci-fi movie for his last one because he hasn't really gone there yet. So I thought he might do the Star Trek movie, just under its own banner, its own name, and use that script. But maybe not.
No, well, there'll be a fanfic over it at some point. Someone doing that for him. Yeah.
So, Misery Prize, kids. So you kind of, yeah. So you're quite happy to adopt the punk.
I think they've adopted us,
such as it is, trying in the endeavour to find something that, because that's the thing. You have to sell yourselves as something, apparently.
Well, define punk first. That's the first thing.
Well, exactly.
What does punk mean? Punk means going your own way. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean that to everyone, but it's doing it yourself, doing it for yourself, and that's the thing. We're doing this for fun. We're enjoying doing it. That's it.
Yeah.
For my definition, it doesn't get much more punk. But I encountered a lot of. Hopefully, you guys, it doesn't happen to you guys, but I got a lot of sort of snobbery within a lot of the punk community. They like any fandom, I guess. People do have can sometimes get a very blinkered, very specific view of what they think something is, and if it's anything remotely not that, then they can very passionately dislike you.
They're outing themselves as not punk, aren't they, by doing that?
Yeah, that was always my fucking rant. But because it's like we were too metal for the punk crowd and too punk for the metal crowd, and too just too heavy for a more pop crowd. And even when I was doing what I thought was like some of the most commercial stuff I have ever ventured into trying to do, we were playing some venues in Sheffield, and it was fucking awful. But like the sound guy might come up afterwards and be like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're just a bit too much, for these guys. They're not used to seeing things like that." I'm like, what kind of lame posse shit do you usually have on here? Because this is my pop band. You should have seen me when I was younger. This.
At the end of
it gets a bit. I mean, to the point that I wrote a song called "It's Good, but It's Not Punk" because that was the most common phrase, the closest to a compliment that we'd kind of get after a lot of gigs. Well, it's good, but it's not punk, is it? When we were on purposely on punk bills, because that's what I thought we were, because that's what I think I am. And if I'm writing it, if I'm writing the lyrics, and if I'm shouting it at people, and if I'm writing the guitar riffs, and if I'm booking the gigs and doing everything else except for playing bass and drums, then it's a punk band. But yeah.
I'll say we've been adopted by. I'll say the reason we've got the gig in Poland is because we were You Chose to Be a Cunt that was played uncensored by there's a very big Polish band called Deserter, and they've been going for decades. Their drummer has got a station, has got a show on a Polish sort of. I assume it's kind of like the alternative to say Six Music is over here. So new music, a lot of being played, and so Krzysztof Grabowski, the drummer from Deserter, he played our tune "You Chose to Be a Cunt" uncensored and dedicated it to the president of the country. So it feels quite punk, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And at the end of every gig ends with me screaming 12 to 16 times, "Fuck you all! I don't care. Cancel me if you like." And then walking off stage, and we'll do what we do. We're enjoying it. We enjoy.
That's it.
We make the music that as I say, we're creating something new. We make what we like for us. We wouldn't make it if we didn't like it ourselves. And That's the I've seen many people talking about it in various clips and memes and that kind of stuff. But it's if I think it might have been Rick Rubin, I think that was the most recent one. If you're making art for other people and for the audience, then you're not making art.
You're not making
You've got to make it for yourself first and foremost, and you've got to make sure that you dig what you're doing. If you don't dig it and you're trying to create something that's popular for somebody else's benefit, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And whether we get an audience of 100, 10,000, it's as long as we've made it. Then another quote is Chuck Palahniuk. Again, the author Chuck Palahniuk. One of the quotes from one of his books is, "The aim isn't to live forever; it's to create something that will." And that's why I've written a load of books. It's creating something that when I'm dead, whatever I made is still there. That's my reason for it, my raison d'etre.
Yeah, I think the single best piece of advice that I ever received was that just remember when you started this shit, you had no fans, you know, and you still made it. So you've got to respect them, you've got to appreciate them. It is great to have them, but you don't really make it for them. Otherwise, you'll just make the same thing over and over again because they like it, but not because you do. Which I think is everything you've just said. But yeah, you've got to do that. I hear so many gigs. A band starts up and I go, oh, and I like it, and they keep playing and I like it, and they finish that song and I go, oh, I quite like these, and I saw you dial in, I start paying attention, and then when you're like 3-5 songs in and you've heard the same song 3 or 5 times, it's not a good gig. And that really annoys me. And when I used to get out a little bit more than I do now, that was happening a lot. Like, we've seen a lot of bands, and there'd be like fantastic sort of online buzz, and they'd actually be pulling good crowds. I don't know if they're just all like friends and family, so they're biased and predisposed to be jumping around and having a good time. But I'm thinking they're clearly like they have a formula, a blueprint of what they think a band should be, and they're just doing that. And each to their own. They're having fun doing it or whatever. Then great, it's fine. It's not a problem. I don't mean to shit on somebody having fun playing in a band. Better that than, you know, hard drugs or, you know, going around beating up gay people or something. Better that they're in a band, you know, however shit and formulaic and bland your band is. Better that they're doing that than many other things they could be up to. But not good. Not good. I can live without that.
Yeah, and like I say, we know then there's a lot of very, very popular bands doing, for want of a better term, the same old shit. And we're just happy being 3 early middle-aged men, young men, 3 young men.
3 clean-cut young men from South Yorkshire.
One from South Yorkshire, one from Lancashire, one from Wales. Is the we're from across
exotic trio.
We certainly are an exotic trio. But yeah, no, like I say, we've seen it all before. We're all music lovers, and yeah, for me, it's creating something that nobody has heard before or nobody has seen before. And while we're doing that, then I'm happy. If we do regurgitate the same 10 songs, that's when it may lose its shine. But I don't think we're ever going to get to that point, because we've got that many ideas bubbling away, that much stuff going on. As I say, the gigs, we intentionally take it up and down. It'll go 2 or 3 tunes, and then we'll slow it down. You know, it's try and change the theme, change the pace, change the direction of it. But as long as As long as we're having fun, it's all good.
We've even got a poppy one, haven't we?
Is what?
We've even got a poppy one, influenced.
Oh yes, we've even got a slightly pop song about influencers. Yeah.
And how great they are, these people with their profiles
the power of influencers.
They're wonderful, short, hairy people.
It's about the entitlement of that particular cross section of online society. The entitlement of the choruses. It builds up, but I've got 50 likes because I'm popular. Can I have it for free? If you refuse, shut the business down, kind of thing. We can sort of say why we do it and what we do it for, but the only way you're really going to get what we do is by standing there and watching what we do, and your head will bob, at least your head will bob, or your foot might tap, and eventually, once the beer's kicked in, you'll be dancing.
So I'm gonna try one more thing, and I'm gonna let you go. So it's relatively early days as a band, still, like as you say, still evolving and becoming whatever the hell it is you're going to become. But if I can just, it might be a bit of a reach. But if a more established, perhaps even deceased, let's go in the realms of pure fantasy.
Jimi Hendrix.
If someone was to cover a Misery Prize track,
Jimi
who would you like to have a stab at it?
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. He's 17. He's 17. Brian Harvey could do "You Chose to Be a Cunt." Tony from E17 can do the sung parts, and then right at the end, Brian Harvey can do the spoken word bit at the end. Then we'll have Peter Andre supporting.
They use a drum machine, though, don't they?
They
have a drum machine.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have a backing track, but with a picture of Jesse on it on the big screen.
Okay. Well, on that fantastic vision, and to be fair, if anybody from E17, or if anybody knows which McDonald's E17 are working in, if they want to get in touch and get on that comeback trail, we can make it happen.
Brian Harvey's off his tits on jacket potatoes. He'll not be joining them.
So, kids, do you want to get all over the socials now after this? Because who wouldn't after this riveting, entertaining, educational conversation that we've been having for way too long?
You're going to edit this down, right, before you put it online?
Oh, fuck no. No, never.
So, Sniktcast featuring Misery Prize, the movie.
Yeah, it's all just DIY punk rock. It is what it is. I'm sick of that. Genuinely, when I wanted to start doing something like this, moving on from just making posts on social media, and I wanted to do some kind of show, which was originally I just wanted to do. I had a friend, and I just wanted to do just a 2-man podcast, just me and a friend, just talking this shit. This is probably way better. But I just thought, the crap that we say and the jokes that we make and the stuff that we talk about and the pop culture that we consume, whenever we get together and just have a kebab and say this shit, we should probably just do it on camera, because it's what the kids do these days. You never know, it might be fun. Somehow it ended up being this, which I'm enjoying. But it's all good. It's all good. So I'm going to go. You're going to go. We're going to say goodbye. So when you're done with this and you get all on the socials, this has been Misery Prize you're looking for. But yeah, it's all that overproduced. Like every fucking YouTuber, and with like 5 cameras and this like studio lighting and everything. And I don't like it. I'm an old man, and I miss the kind of, it's real people, you know, on the sofa in their spare room or whatever, just doing it, you know. And I'm bringing it back, yo. I like that. I like that aspect. So I want to keep it. I want to keep the shitty quality. I could have a 1,000 followers and millions in fucking subscription fees or something. At some point, I might have to start running ads or whatever. I don't fucking know. I'm not even trying. I'm not even interested at this point. It's just fun. I don't know. People say you should do this, you should do that. I have people who kind of know their way around the social media scene, making recommendations and telling me what I'm doing wrong. Like I have to swear less for a start. And it's not happening. So I'm not sure I could ever actually make it happen if I wanted to, not without drastically changing. Why would I want to do that any more than I would have done when I was making music, which is never happening again either. So for now, I'm doing this. But misery prize. This is what I do. I just try and make sure people know where they're going straight after this. And you know, when you get that, when you've had that one like, when you've got that one extra follower, that was because of me. That was because of this. That was because you did this. So of course you're going to tell all your creative friends that they should hit me up and get on in future weeks because it's so much fun. You don't get anything out of it. You don't get paid.
I haven't got any friends.
There's really nothing. There's really nothing in it for you, but like hopefully it's a bit of a giggle and it's something to do if you've got a couple of hours spare. It doesn't have to be a couple of hours. I'll take what I can get. I really will. I'll take what I can get. But I do like the sound of my own voice, so they tend to run long if possible, which is all me usually.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. New Taskmaster started 10 minutes ago, so that's what I'm going to go and do. I'm going to go and watch that.
Hey, not a bad idea. Right.
Anytime.
I'll let you disappear.
Good
Cross
chat.
yourselves off.
Thank you.
Johnny.
Anytime.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
Thanks for,
I'll see you
thanks for being here.
See you next week, Jesse. Bye then. How do I leave?
And away they go. Well, so there you have it, kids. That was Misery Prize, electro, punk, rock, fucking whatever. It's good shit. It's music. There's two types of music in this world, kids. There's the music you like and there's the music you don't. So just hit them up, Misery Prize. Give them a shot. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. They don't mind either way. Neither do I. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Just make a mild recommendation. It's all suggestion. It's all suggestive. Everything's suggestive. It's all the double entendre, kids. So I'll be back next week. But until then, as the sun sets slowly in the west, set even slowly in the west, I'll bid you a fond farewell. Peace.